Hello, and thank you for tuning in. You are tuned in to The Encourager, and my name is Nehru. I hope your day is going well. Today is Monday, the 23rd of October, 2023. So 10/23/23 today. And as always, everything's important and significant, no matter what it is, whether we believe we're getting the short end of that stick, or we are the one that's benefiting the majority beneficiary. It doesn't matter. It all matters. So again, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for my subscribers. And speaking of which, I have 12, so I am thankful for all 12 of those subscribers today. I started this channel, I set it up a year ago, more than a year ago, like June of 2022, but I didn't really do anything with it. I think I posted one video all of last year just because of the things that I've since shared on this channel. Spiritual cleansing and spiritual awakenings and dark night of the soul and being ghosted and going through twin flame, false flame situations and all that sort of thing. So I didn't do much with the channel last year, but this year I've certainly been guided to go ahead and do that. I was guided to start the channel to begin with, and so really tried to contribute more this year to the channel, and I did post, certainly not every day, but I think I've posted thus far some 50 videos this year, so it's been much better as I again step into fully what I'm called to do. That's to heal, and that is healing in a number of different ways. That's healing through physical means, that's healing through mental, physical, or spiritual, but the majority of the my focus is on the spiritual. So awakening us to who we really truly are. Those of us who follow Abraham Hicks, Billy Carson, Dr. Billy Carson, and others, you understand that we are not flesh and bone with red fluid flowing through us, right? We are energy beings. We have been since the beginning of time. Yes, the Bible says very little about that. That's been all raped by man, and really needs to be completely redone to include everyone, not a segregated gospel. All right, not a segregated gospel. That's why Yeshua just roamed. I think that's why most of the seven ascended masters, I think that's why they just kind of roamed. They just kind of walked the earth, because segregation is of the enemy. Anything that separates is of the enemy. Anything that divides is of the enemy. Okay? I don't even know why I'm saying that. That's not even the purpose why I pressed record this morning. But evidently that's the way that I go. Because I just learning to just press play and know that divine Holy Spirit, Most High, will give me the words when I began to speak. So the reason why I was guided to press record this morning was to share just a little bit about, because now I'm starting to get just a few questions in regards to how does someone go from being religious, and I grew up in religion, so I know that at least from the situations that I went through, I know from a religious standpoint the stagnation that process can brew, okay, and maintain. And so many of the things that religion teaches are man-made rules and laws. Man has proven time and time again that man is not good at following laws. That's why man has so many laws, and man breaks them every single day. Many of you probably have some type of news app. I get this news break, like I have this news break app thing on my phone, and it's all over the country, all over the world. Actually, it's global. And so I get these downloads every day. It is amazing to me how many. Now, I do know from the number of people who pass every day, and again, I don't know why. This is just, stay with me if you have the time. Because again, if you clicked on the channel, you were divinely guided to do so, unless you're a stalker or a troller or one of those, okay? And if you are, then feel free to stay. Maybe there's something here for you as well, you know? Because at some point, there's good and bad, and that's where I'm going with this. There's good and bad in all of us. It's just a matter of what we choose. So with the good and bad, religion teaches us that there is good and bad. Okay? So the truth of the matter is, spiritually speaking, okay, when you're transitioning from religion to spirituality, there are many things, philosophies, habits, progressions in life that you will have to release. You will have to do cord cutting against. Some of those things are against relationships, which are some of the most difficult, if not the most difficult cords to cut. Okay, it are the relationships, because those have both a spiritual and a physical, tangible attachment. And so when they have both a spiritual attachment and a physical attachment, then, right, that's twice the work. Okay, so you take a professional athlete that's extremely, I mean, they've been training since they were, I don't know, you take Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods picked up a golf club when he was like, I don't know, 3, right? 2 or 3 or something like that, I think. And so you take someone else who's like, think the Watt family, TJ Watt and JJ Watt, right? So you think about them and how long they have been honing their craft, right? These athletes, these individuals, and I mention them because I really wanted to think about someone who had like 2 pro athletes in their family. So you could pick them, the Kelseys, you could anyone. So the Williams sisters, right? You could anyone. So, but you think about 100-yard dash is what I'm thinking about, right? So you think about 100 yards. Most of us couldn't run 100 yards at a consistently high speed today worth much anything, and that probably includes myself, even though I am fairly well fit. I certainly don't lend to cardio. I ran 8 years in the military for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 miles sometimes in the morning. So I don't run voluntarily today. If I do any cardio, it's because that is really what I'm really needing to focus on for that particular day. That's what I'm guided to do. But I still maintain at, I don't know what I weigh, 160 pounds or something, probably, or something. So I'm very fit, very lean. Yeah, I'm very, very fit guy, but the cardio thing, I don't do it voluntarily very often. However, to run that 100-yard dash, think about running it not just once, but twice. Okay? Think about running, how difficult that would be. So when you think about religion and them looking at things being good, bad, right? The progressiveness of that thought process, this is good, that is bad, this is good, right? It get years and decades of that, you get way down the road with that bad boy. You get way down the road, right? How long is that cord? How thick is that cord, right? Because there was a time when you thought smoking was a sin. There was a time when you thought wearing shorts was a sin. There was a time when you thought wearing pants was a sin. There was a time when makeup was a sin. There was a time when getting a massage was a sin. There was a time when going to the movies was a sin. There was a time when watching a movie in your house was a sin. There was a time when you couldn't go swimming because you couldn't wear a swimsuit. There were times when all of that garbage and so much more. Drinking is not a sin. What's a sin, right? A sin is nothing more than going against your truest, purest self. That is exactly what a sin is. Because your truest, purest form is the pneuma breath Yahweh, Most High, Divine Creator. That is Him. That doesn't encompass a religion. That doesn't encompass a religion. That is all encompassing of every. Okay? He's the one who makes the corrections, not the man or woman standing up there in front of you telling you that you can't do this and you can't do that. They are not the regulator of you. They're not the regulator of you. Okay? You are the regulator of you. Okay? So self-management. So, I wrote here 3, and I'll be adding to this list, I'm sure, either as I'm speaking or afterwards, and then perhaps I'll come back and add to this, and do a part 2 or what have you. So, a mini or shortened 3-day type of transformation plan, okay? Or let's say, for instance, spiritually speaking, you just got hit by a Mack truck. Who knows where it came from, right? You come home, note on the counter, husband, wife, they just left, took the kids, they're not coming back. You look around the house, you realize all their stuff is gone, and now what? That's a Mack truck. Unless you were happy that they're gone. I guess then it's time to pop open the champagne. But generally, in most cases, that's a Mack truck. Okay? Walk into your office, right? Doing an exceptional job. It's Monday morning. You're feeling good. You just closed a great deal last month. It's the beginning of the month. Things are going awesome. You're feeling like you're going to meet that quota. There's not going to be any issues. And bam! 2 hours later, before your coffee even gets cold, you're packing a box, putting a family photo in it, and walking out the door, right? What are you going to do? That's a Mack truck. What are you going to do? So, I want to share a couple of things in regards to how to get through this. Now, this is one avenue. There are many others, right? You could walk in there and go postal, right? And decide you're going to unalive people, which is a dumbass choice that most people make today because they're low vibing, anti-synergistic. Like they're operating outside of themselves and not even realizing it, right? Because the true form of who you are is honest, is truthful, not deceiving, not manipulating, not narcissistic. Now, we all have narcissistic abilities, capabilities, right? Just like we all have, I always say we all have the ability to be either to build an atomic bomb or to grow flowers, right? And there are people who choose to be a Hitler. There are people who choose to be that Adolf Hitler, right? Because there are other people whose last name's Hitler. Probably not many. I'm sure there are. But specifically, that individual, right? So there are people who choose to be that way. There are people who choose to be the Jim Joneses of the world. There are people who choose to be the Kenneth Copelands of the world. There are people who choose to be the Creflo Dollars of the world. There are people who choose to be the Jimmy Swaggarts. There are people who choose to be the Fidel Castro's and those individuals fail to see they are Saddam Hussein. Those individuals, and those are just a very, we could go on and on. Bundy, Ted Bundy, and on and on and on and on and on, right down to your very neighborhood, right down to your very city, right? I had an office for years, an accounting and tax office for years in Daytona. Eileen Wuornos, that was her stomping ground. She is probably the most notorious female serial killer in America, in North America, right? Right there. I drove up and down those very same streets. So they are right here amongst us, right? So getting hit by a Mack truck, a mini course, kind of a three-day thing. Maybe you have just the weekend because you have, take Friday, take that day, do what you want to do. You know, I advise you that if you're going to do anything, if you're gonna kind of like bad habit splurge, let's say. If you want to do that, and nothing's bad. Yeah, everything's okay with moderation. You know, most things are with moderation, right? So, when you go, get whatever that is, whether that's drinking, smoking. I wouldn't advise anything really beyond those two things. Anything that you put into a needle or snort through your nose, pills and all that. Again, anything beyond, I don't know, I can't recommend anything. Just whatever, right? I would do those things at my house. Okay, I would not go out and do those things after being hit by a Mack truck in public, because things tend to get out of control and you're just setting yourself up for failure in those situations. So, 3-day transformation plan. I just lost my job. I was making $150,000 a year. I'm the sole breadwinner. I was just making $400,000. I thought I was going to make partner. What is going on? I thought when she retired, I thought I was going to be taking over the firm or the practice or the company. How did they just oust me? Why did I get voted out? Right? All those types of situations. Okay. How did I just get pregnant by some one night stand? Damn it. Whatever it happens to be. Okay? So, religion teaches that there's good and bad, right? So, the truth of the matter is, right, spiritually speaking, there is no good and bad. There's only a consequence. Again, there is no good or bad. There's only a consequence. And that consequence, most of us know as karma. But there's also dharma, which dharma is the positive. That's the good side. Okay? So you're minding your own business. You're walking down the street. Somebody decides they're going to throw their Slurpee out at you because they're just ignorant ass punks who have nothing else better to do than to just mess with your day, right? So, or present a challenge to you. And again, that's terrible. I would be upset if that happened to me. I'm not saying I wouldn't be. But again, we're all a work in progress. I remember I have a very good friend, and we dated for a little time many years ago, and she's passed. And I've been thinking about her all week. Her birthday's in September, and yeah, just some fond memories. We stayed good friends. There was a lull after we dated because of the way that the breakup and separation and all of that happened. But we ended up being good friends and ended up going for many years before she passed. You know, and she ended up being married and then became good friends with her husband and all that. So it was awesome. Good, great relationship. But I remember she asked me one time when I was going through one of these awakenings. I was going through, and we go through many awakenings in our life, okay, in one lifetime. And you do live many lives. If you don't believe in timeline jumping and you don't believe in multiple lives, then feel free to explain deja vu in the comment section of this video if you don't believe in those things. So, so I remember I was going through one of these awakenings after my frustration, after the military and all of that, and because I love the military so much, I really hated to get out. And I say hated because it is that strong. I loved it that much. And so anything, first of all, let me say this, anything that you, anything that you love that much to, you're going to be challenged with it at some point of it leaving. I guarantee you. Why? Because the universe is always trying to remind us that we are what is most important to us. Don't sell yourself out. I'm in love. I did that. I've done it twice in my life where I sold myself out. The truth of who I was, I sold myself out and dumbed myself down. Demeaned myself. I don't know why I'm sure I'm saying that. Well, Holy Spirit gives me the words. So, lower ourselves, right? In order to fit into someone else's situation. I did that, right? I did that from 2019 to 2021, 2021, end of 2021, around this time, 2021. That was the last time I did it, and that will be the last time I do it. I will never, ever, 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 ever forget who I am again in order to please someone else. I will never do that again. And I vow you to, and I encourage you to take that vow, that oath. Never, ever, ever. I commit to never, ever, ever, ever dumb myself down to fit into another individual's life. Say it. Right? So, there's no good and bad, right? There's just dharma and karma. That's all there is. So you can live your life however you want to, but you must understand that there is dharma and karma. You can have your opinions about whatever you want to. You can get mad and act that anger out and express that anger however you want to. People do it all the time and more violently every day. That's why now it's trickled into the schools and into the offices and into the, right? In 1970, it was unheard of for someone walking into a building with a machine gun and just letting the entire postal staff have it. What? And then for it to happen multiple times a year? More and more as the majority continues to be drawn in by the false lies, rules that man has made up, including the religious ones, okay? And the manipulating of what most of us carry around today, known as the Bible, okay? I would put that book down. I would. In fact, I would put it down. If you read it every day, I would put it down. I wouldn't pick it up for 33 days. I don't even know where that's coming from. Don't pick it up for 33 days. And then just talk to the Father. And just spend quiet time with him. Don't pick up your Bible for 30 days. Don't look at a verse on your phone unless you are divinely guided. Put it down for 33 days. See what happens. Someone on my phone, a message just came up from someone. Their last name is Copeland. So, yeah. So, yeah. Do that and see what happens. And during the time when you would normally open that book up, spend quiet time with the Father. Right? Just spend time with him. Right? Maybe you have some nice instrumental, non lyrical, non-verbal, no lyrics, right? Music in the background, just you and him. Try that during your Bible reading time for 33 days. Try it out. See what happens. Right? So, the first step, 3-day transformation over the weekend, right? Mack truck hit you. What are you going to do? First step is you have to isolate. And again, I was gonna say immediately to go into this isolate, but I understand we are, at least in portion, we are fat, flesh, and bone and blood, right? So so we do have emotions, and we have those emotions for a reason, right? And so you might be in the moment feeling like, you know what, I need to go get a drink. Yep. Again, depending on how big the Mack truck was, you might want to just grab that stuff and go to the house. That's probably the best advice. And then just lock yourself inside and, like, I don't know, tell your best friend to, like, drop you off or something, and they take your keys or so. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm saying that. But it's, yeah, and just, yeah, lock yourself, just whatever, I remember when I was going through my dark night of the soul, and I had to sleep in my office for a couple of months because that's what happened, right? Because she was, I had, I'm not even the same person I was when that process started. So to look back now, I don't know what my thought processes were. I can guarantee you this, up to that point, whenever I decided to lace my boots back up to that point, I was definitely crying out for her. Up to that point. So I was definitely, in your situation, crying out for him or her to come back, crying out for, why did they let me go? Why did this happen? Why did why does my son, why does my daughter, why does my husband, why does my wife, why does my friend, why does my parent, why my whatever, right? Whatever that Mack truck was. So I remember I spent 3 days, complete isolation at my office. I went and bought an air mattress and literally, and a covered quilt of some sort. Literally did not leave that office building for 3 days. And in fact, I don't even think I went out into the hallway from my office, right? Because of the situation, that was where I had to be, right? Because I was in the process of exiting her life. And so, physically and spiritually. So, and I honestly believe the mental aspect of it is the last part to go, just because of what the mind is, right? What the memory is. Okay. And just the way that we observe certain pictures, right? So yes, I spent 3 days, did not eat anything. I only drank water, and that was simply to be responsible for the third kidney I have, as I'm a kidney transplant recipient. That is the only reason why that is the only reason why, hold on one second. I just saw a message. Someone said, hold on one second. I'm just looking at something. Oh, okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't something I needed to include in what I'm sharing today. That's all, because those things happen in the middle of, in the middle of what you're doing. So, constantly being added to is what I just got. Constantly being added to. You are constantly being added to. Constantly. Constantly. Now, if we stop adding the bad, then we can add more good, right? So, didn't you just say there's no bad or good? Yeah, but Yeshua spoke in parables so that the people who were not enlightened could understand what he was saying. He did not speak in parables to the disciples because they were at a place spiritually where they could understand him. Okay? So that's why he used parables with some and not with others. Okay? So bad and good, right? And I mean, if I can't relate to you and you can't relate to me, there's no communication, right? So I use those words because those words are mutually understandable or understood between us. So yes, right? So that's what I did. So that's what I would advise, okay? There needs to be some type of isolation, and not isolation for a couple of hours, because if you get hit by a Mack truck, you need to be honest with yourself and realize what time you need in order for yourself to really step back out when you decide to put those I like Johnston and Murphy shoes. When you decide to put those back on, or you decide to put those, not the stilettos. Don't do the stilettos at the office. When you decide to put those heels back on, right, and get back out there, right, and be about your business, right, that you know that you are stepping out there refreshed, right? You take a few hours from recovering from getting hit by a quote-unquote Mack truck, you're not physically or mentally or emotionally, you're not ready to go in 2 hours. You're just, that's not. You need more time than that. Okay? You need more time than that. So, I'm thinking about David Goggins. David Goggins, I think he stretches every morning for like some insane amount of time, like 3 or 4 hours. So you need more time than it takes David Goggins to stretch in the morning in order to get beyond your hit by a Mack truck experience. Okay. I only stretch for like 30 minutes. I don't know. I'm lazy. I'm not lazy, but I'm not there. I work on it, and I'll be getting into some other things too as we go along. As I go along, we go along. We're on this journey, like yoga and those sorts of things. I definitely will be getting into some of those things. But as of right now, it's meditation, and I do exercises and stretching and calisthenics and things like that. I do all those things. I do those things on my own on a regular basis. Almost every day, some sort of exercise, even if it's only push-ups. I do some sorts of exercise. So, all right. So the isolation, that time is needed, and give yourself adequate time. If it's a situation where it's a spouse and they left you, or it's a significant other and they left you. So I'm going to give you what I believe. This is my own opinion. Again, I am biased because I am me, and me am I. So excuse me for a second. So yes, be honest with yourself. Give yourself a fair amount of time. If it's a spouse situation, but you still have to show up for work. If you are a business owner or entrepreneur, you still have to show up for your employees and your staff because they count on you. Okay? They count on you. Okay? So this is why, and it's also because of my militant attitude, my ways, the way that I think. I think I don't know. I always thought if university, college, if it wasn't so expensive, I'd be enrolled in school like for the rest of my life. I'd go to school constantly. I'd just be in school constantly. But here in America, that's a ridiculous amount of debt to be racking up for really for self-enlightenment would really be all it's for, for the most part, and obviously then sharing with those who I come in contact with and I am led to share this news with. I had a conversation, see, here's another rabbit trail. I had a conversation last night with a gentleman, unknowingly. I went to the store, and I was going to go to one store, and again, aware, crown chakra, third eye, you're being intuitive even when you're outside amongst others, right? You're listening, you're paying attention, all your sensors are on, you're like, you're paying attention, you're awake, right? So I step out, and I was going to go to one store, which was to the left. Now it's like, no, something's telling me I go to the right? Meet this guy at that store. His name is Rex. He says, angels are all around us. I said, yeah. I said, sometimes we even talk to him. He said, that's right. Sometimes we even talk to him. Right? And we went on to have our own conversation outside in the parking lot. So, again, the importance of you following your intuition, right? It doesn't matter what you call it. Following your intuition, hearing Holy Spirit, hearing and obeying. It doesn't matter what you call it. However, okay, those who call it Holy Spirit or hear from Holy Spirit, it's not that they are not hearing correctly. If they are in a religious system, right, and they do not step out of that, but they mingle that seed, right? I remember when I was religious, going to the last church that I went to, and the last church I'll ever be a part of, over in Sanford, Florida, and he's a good man. He really is. His heart is really truly after the same thing I'm after. I'm just not doing it in a religious way. Okay? Because I believe that the church was never meant to be something that was taught out of a book. And the church was never meant to be the way that we know it today. It's been 400 years since the Most High has been pleased with any church on this globe, on this sphere. 400 years. Okay? So, I'm just not into that process. So after 20 years, when I realized that, I left. Ironically, it was when my dark night of the soul happening and I was going through my spiritual awakening. Okay? So, so when you go into isolation, you want to filter out anything that you deem as bad. Okay, and this is where I'm going with the bad and good thing, right? Anything you deem as bad. So what do I mean, right? I don't mean anything that people would look at you and say is bad. I'm not talking about criticism from others. I'm talking about being honest with yourself and saying to yourself, okay, self-evaluation. That same guy at that church, by the way, he also mentioned some years, I don't even know. I was there for 20 years again. I've heard a lot of messages from him. And good ones. I remember he said one time, he said, I lost my thought. I was about being honest. I don't know. Maybe I'm sharing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Divine doesn't want me sharing any more quotes from him. Okay, so all right. So filtering through the bad things and doing that self-evaluation. So what do I mean? Okay, so I look at myself, right? And I say self. Okay. I say, who are the people in my life? So here's the first question. Who are the people in my life that I hang out with, I go around, I spend time with, and that word spend is important. but I spend time with, but I really know that they're not good for me. I really shouldn't be hanging around them. They're a bad influence. But there's something about them that bothers me. But I know they don't like me, but we have the same friends. Whatever that is, make out a list. Hopefully it's not too long, because hopefully you've been doing a little work here and there as you've been living, right? Filter work. So be honest with yourself about that, right? So I like Jim, but his friend Corey, it's just when he comes around, because he drinks a lot, and then he's like with a new woman every week, and like, I don't know, it's just like his principles are just like not mine. There you go. You have to make a decision with that situation, right? Okay, so the first one, make a list of the individuals who you spend time with. Invest is a better word. Invest your time with, because that's a bad ROI, okay? You don't want that. You don't want that. So, hey, Jim. Hey, man. Hey, can I talk to you for a second? I'm just doing some, just helping me, just doing some work, man, and making me feel better. I'm trying to improve myself, doing some self-improvement work. And I think you're a great friend, man. I think you're a good friend. You and I, we have a lot in common. But your friend Corey, he's just not, that's just not, nah. He just rubs me the wrong way, and you know how he is. He's drunk and all the women and blah, blah, whatever it is, however that conversation goes, right? Whatever, right? Call your friend and let him know, right? Who that third party friend is, or whoever that person happens, the other friends, or whoever happens to be mutual friends, right? Okay? But make that list of people that you invest your time with that give you no return on your investment. What do I mean by return on your investment? They don't sow into you, right? They're always complaining. That is a leech. Okay, they are sucking your energy. All they talk about is sex. Okay, they need to do some sacral cleansing work and some root chakra cleansing work. Anyone who focuses on sex addictions, any of that, the person I dated, who was my twin flame, who was a fallen angel, she had a sex addiction. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I did not know that until we were separated. But she has a sex addiction. And that sex addiction, at some point well before her and I got together, maybe in her childhood, led her down a closet bisexual or lesbian life that I was completely unaware of when I met her. Well, yeah, when I met her a year before we started dating. But when I started dating her, I was completely unaware of that situation. Okay? Why was I completely unaware of that situation? Right? I was completely blinded for, I would say, I'm going to open my journal here for a second. And this is probably going to run a little long. I do apologize. But I have 3 steps that I'm going to be sharing, right, in regards to how to get through this 3-day, over the weekend kind of mini transformation process from this big boom that you guys got knocked down with, right? So the first one's isolation, the second one's meditation and being still, and then the third part is the cleansing process, right? And they all serve an individual purpose. You can do all of these every day in one day, and in fact, I advise it, right, multiple times a day. Actually, is what I was doing through my process. Okay, so But shortly after I moved in with her, okay, I've been a journaler for, that's not journalist, journaler, for a long time. I have several journals. And I'm just completing this one that I was already writing in when her and I started dating each other. And I can see that probably a month after, 2 months after I moved in with her, I started getting downloads. Now, here's me being completely transparent with you, which I always want to be. There's no need for me to hide anything because that's what they're doing, right? That's what everybody else is doing, right? That's what Creflo's doing. He's hiding, right? I'm not doing that, right? That's what he's doing. That's what Copeland's doing, right? I'm not doing that, right? So you can try to catch me in whatever. You ask me the question, I'm going to be honest with you. However, I'm going to, let's see. Hold on, let me plug my phone in. Have I ever been involved in a relationship where the woman was married? Yep, I was. Yep, I slept with a woman when I was in Germany. She was married. Yep, sure did. Yep. So you asked me a question. I don't care. What is it? What are you gonna do to me? Do you know what I mean? And that's part of what's wrong with the leadership today, is most of them are afraid of the darts. Most of them are afraid of the darts. Okay? And I was too at one point, right? But long gone are those days. Yes. So, the next thing you want to do is write down any habits that you have that you know do not serve your good. Okay? These are habits that do not serve your good. So what habits are those? So, let's take smoking, for instance, right? So let's say you smoke a pack of cigarettes a day today. Man, it's been so long since I smoked cigarettes, I don't even know how many come in a pack. I don't know, 20? Maybe? I don't know. So how many of the cigarettes come in a pack of cigarettes? So if you smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, right? So we already know and this has to do with cleansing yourself, okay? This is all part of it. Why do I have to stop smoking? Because it cleanses you, right? Because we're going to be going into cleansing your chakras, and you will need a time and period to get all of that out. You've been smoking for how many years? You've been drinking alcoholic beverages every day for how many years? You need some time. You've been eating hot dogs for how many years? You've been eating Pringles. Pringles are not potato chips. They're not even made from potatoes. You need to get that out, right? You need to get all of that out, right? Okay. So, what you want to do is write down those things that you know that are not good for you. So, if you smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, but you know you want to quit, like the desire's in you, if you don't have the desire to quit, don't worry about it. Ignore this part of what I'm saying, right? But if you, oh man, I really would, because I would like to maybe I would like to, man, I remember when I used to run a mile. It felt great just to get out there and just run through the air. Right? Thinking about that? Okay. So, don't take a gigantic leap, right? And try to just like put the cigarettes down if that's not what you can do, right? I quit cold turkey twice. Once while I was in the military after 7 years of smoking, and then once after the military. And when I quit cold turkey, yeah, the second time I was out of the military. And to me, I'm definitely a snatch the Band-Aid off kind of person, as you guys could probably tell. I'm just like that. Not everyone's like that, right? Just so your tolerance and all of that goes into everything that I'm sharing today, okay? Right. So, be honest with yourself, though. If you're wanting to stop smoking, don't take that gigantic step. Just say, okay, we know the key point times when people like to smoke cigarettes. First thing in the morning, after eating, and before going to bed. Okay? So do not say to yourself, okay, so I'm going to stop those 3 times. If you know for sure you can't do that, don't go there, right? Take it easy, right? Because that's loving you. Take it easy. Because jumping to, if you know you can't, I've tried 7 times, open a pack of cigarettes, I can't, and it gets you like that, take it easy. Because that's not loving yourself. That's hating yourself, right? That's going against you, right? So you say, whoa. So let's say this. I keep all the times when I really want to smoke a cigarette, I keep those times. And all the times, let's say when I'm bored. So I will not smoke a cigarette within the first 15 minutes after I've just smoked one. Start there. Right? Start there. Okay? So, isolation, extremely important. During this isolation, okay, you are doing a self-evaluation process. Okay? Look around your house, in your house, or apartment, or condo, wherever you happen to be. Right? Look at what is around you in your house and the things that people have given you. Okay? What's your relationship with those individuals today? Okay? Oh yeah, I had that coat from two boyfriends ago. He was such a jerk. Throw it out. Get rid of the coat. He gave that. Get rid of that. Okay? Get rid of that. Get it out. Okay? That's a part of him or her. Get it out. Okay? And I would even say this, even for those situations where they were great relationships, or they are great relationships, if you two separate, so your relationship was once up here, wherever up here is, and today it is down here, wherever down here is, but there was a de-escalation in the status of the relationship at some point. Okay? Evaluate that. Evaluate those things in your house. Okay? And remove those things. Okay? Remove those things from your house. Get rid of them. No matter the significance. And I know that might be tough because it might be a picture where you look fantastic, but they're in the picture. Don't cut them out. Throw the picture away. Because if you look at half the picture where you cut them out, you'll look at it for the next 20 years and be like, that's right, you son of a... Right? Don't. Just throw the picture away. Just throw it out. Okay? Just throw it out. Okay? Ooh! Damn! I am just having a light bulb moment. Oh, shit. So the lady that I dated... Oh, wow. Okay, so the lady that I dated... Oh, man. She had this picture. It was her, I guess her former husband. I don't know if they're actually separate. I have no idea. I don't even care about that. I'm not even looking back there because I'm not being turned to stone. So, but she had this picture. When I met her, she had this picture in her house. And I always wondered, why do you have that picture? It is a picture of her husband, or former husband. It doesn't matter. She was married to him for 20-something years, 4 years, something, if they're not still married. Or if that's true. I don't know. I don't know about any of that. I don't know what is true and what isn't true.
other than what's been confirmed in me through my intuition and me speaking with the Most High, and things that He's confirmed through synchronicities and things like that in my life. That's the only reason why I know the things that I do know. So, and then the mutual friend that introduced us and her husband, and that's it. That's that picture. There's no other picture in the entire house of him. Nowhere. Except that one picture. She would not get rid of it. Pay attention. I just had a halogen light moment. Pay attention. Damn. Wow. So, 2 months after, I started writing in my journal after we moved in together. However, I was so in love blind. There was also witchcraft involved. They were doing witchcraft against me and my business and all of that sort of thing. But the lover that she was with, whoever this transvestite or whoever that individual was, she had a relationship with a transvestite for many years. Again, unbeknownst to me, I thought she was a heterosexual female. Silly me. So anyway, and again, there's no fault to her, right? She's been forgiven, and I have no ill will or malice or anything towards her. Happiness, hope, love, peace, comfort, and joy, if any, can be had for you. That's what I hope for you. There's nothing else. Yeah, nothing on the other side of that. Yes, right? So pay attention, look around, the things that are in your house and those things that are no longer serve your good, right? So when I left Florida in August of this year, I got rid of everything. And there are many things that I emotionally wanted to hold on to, or for sentimental reasons wanted to hold on to, but I knew the word had come to me that I was supposed to, first of all, give everything away. And when he meant everything, right? So don't downgrade Most High's word to you. Don't downgrade the divine word coming to you. Don't downgrade that. Okay? 8 means 8. 3 means 3. 20 means 20. Right? Doesn't mean 21. Doesn't mean 19. It means 20. Right? See how beautiful the planet is when man's not effing it up? You see how beautiful the planet is? Right? And even still, Mother Nature still fights to stay beautiful. Tries to. Right? Yeah. So, being honest with yourself. Huge. In fact, you can't get through this process without that. Dark night of the soul. You cannot get through the dark night of the soul and have your spiritual awakening, a major spiritual awakening, if you are not honest with yourself. You have to be honest about your childhood traumas. You have to be honest about the sexual promiscuity. You have to be honest about the hidden addictions, drugs, alcohol, porn, whatever it is. It could be cars, it could be money, whatever the addiction is. You have to be honest about it. Because if you if you're not honest with yourself, you will not get the results that you want and desire. Okay? So, the next thing, okay, within this during your isolation time, okay, is, let me think how to say this. So I'll start here. So you need to start, so I mentioned the body, so you need to start maybe when you go by the liquor store, right? When you go by the smoke shop, maybe you want to pick up something. Don't pick up anything from Tyrone on the corner. Just saying. So, when you go to the store, right? you might want to go ahead and pick up the healthy things that you plan on consuming after you come out of, out of the stupor, right? After you come out of that. So, take some time, go to the store, and get the things that you know are healthy for you, but you either get minimal supply of, or you don't get at all, but you know those things are good for you. Okay? If you don't know the things that are good for you, look those things up. Find out. So, if you have, do you deal with arthritis? Look up those things that help with that. Buy yourself some turmeric tea. You can get chewables. You can start looking up delicious recipes to put turmeric in. Like, there's all sorts of things you can do, right? This is what I did when I went, or when I found out that I had a rare autoimmune virus that attacked my kidneys in 2013, was diagnosed with that. It's called IgG4 nephropathy. I am an old soul. Ironically, it's only amongst men who are 60 and older. I was 38 when I was diagnosed. And so those of you who are paying attention, mathematicians, you can put my age together, right? So that happened in 2013. This is 2023, right? But I was 38, right? So, and so I was diagnosed with that, right? And so I did dialysis for 4.5 years. And during that time, I was looking into all sorts of things. So today, I jokingly, I am not an attorney, I am not a doctor. I was an accountant for 13 years. And but I jokingly say, because I did so much research on the kidneys and their functioning, their spiritual meaning, their natural meaning, things that are good for it, ways to filter it, both, So whether it's a fluid or things that are edible or what have you. So in my processes, I found out that parsley helps with kidney filtering, right? Filters your kidneys, helps with filter. So guess what I started doing? I would buy parsley, and I would just already shredded or already shredded, chopped, I don't know, whatever, dry parsley, already in a little jar, right? And I would shred some into my water, and I would drink it like that, right? I have no doubt whatsoever I was divinely guided to that information, and that information is the reason why today that this kidney is doing as well as it is. I have no question about it whatsoever. None whatsoever. Doctors are amazed at how well the kidney's doing, right? No question whatsoever. So do your research in regards to the things that ail you. That's what this process is about. The things that ail you, right? We're just looking at it from a spiritual standpoint. So with that, go get those things. So if you're a spirulina person, that sounds really, really good. I can't remember the guy's name who's really, really big on spirulina on YouTube. It's been years since I've watched any of his videos, but I know his information sounded just incredible. Again, this is years, like probably, I was still going to the gym and all that. It was probably even before the transplant, so it's been 10 plus years. But yeah, go online, find out about it, look into it. I'm saying spirulina for a reason, specifically, whether that's for me or you or both. Yes, so do that, okay? So the next thing I'm going to advise that you do is in preparation for the cleansing and meditating and all of that, right? Is knowing thyself. So I encourage you, maybe I'll look up one online and I'll include it in the description section of this video. Hopefully I remember. Let me write that down. Link. Okay. So the next thing you need to do is you need to get your birth chart. Okay? And I'm going to include a link to a place where, there's so many, right? You can look up my birth chart online and any of them. Don't get one that you have to pay for. You can get one that you don't, right? It's like paying for email today. That's laughable, right? Thanks, AOL. You don't have to pay for email, okay? So look up your birth chart, okay? So first, I'm going to start out with these, and then at some point, you can look into other things, and you will be guided to do so. But I want to start out looking into these three, or these. Let me think about this. Let me see. So, okay. So, all right. So you should be looking up your sun sign, right? And your sun sign is your calendar. Generally, is your calendar birth date zodiac. So, I'm a Sagittarius sun, because that's the I was born within the zodiac sign of Sagittarius dates, right? As it was facing the sun, right? The Sagittarius is facing the sun, right? And by the way, there is all of these zodiacs. They're amongst the stars. You can look up and you can see the Sagittarius. You can look up and you can see the Scorpio. You can, right? I don't know how clear the night has to be, but all 12 are there. Yes. So find out about your birth chart, okay? So your sun sign, I want you to find your sun sign, your moon sign, okay? All right? Look up your ascendant sign, okay? And let's start with those three. And then again, from there, we can move into, and your Venus. Let's look up your Venus sign. Okay, so let's look up your Venus sign. So let's look up all those. You look up your birth chart. I would take a snap picture. If you look it up on a computer, I would print it out, right? This is something I would study, okay? Because here's the truth about this 3D place that we live in, right? It's on cycles. Sun up, sun down. What comes up when the sun goes down? The moon. What's going to happen tomorrow? The sun's going to come up, the moon's going to go down. It's right? The 3D place is in cycles. This is the religious aspect of where we live, right? Time to make the donuts type of mindset. When we all should be more like Tom Petty, and we should be free falling, flying, right? We should be more like that, right? I think, isn't it Tom Petty? Yes, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So, yes, okay? So look up your sun sign, your moon sign, your ascendant sign, and your Venus sign. Okay, your Venus sign is associated with your heart, by the way. Your moon sign is typically the opposite of what your sun sign is, right? Sun, moon, right? So, Sagittarius, what's the opposite of Sagittarius on the chart, zodiac chart? It's the Gemini, right? That's who Kevin is, right? That's why I was birthed into that family for a reason. I was birthed into my enemy's camp. What can I say? That's what a 333 birthday will do for you. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say. So yes, right? So work on those things, right? And again, all of this is leading up to the next two steps. So do those things, and then we get into the meditation, and being the stillness. So if you do not practice yoga, or if you do not meditate, I would encourage that you pick up at least one of those. Okay? Right? Generally speaking, women lean towards yoga, men lean towards meditation. I think that's mostly because men have this weird thing about, I don't know, yoga being for women or yoga being gay, right? Yoga means happy. It is funny to say, yoga's gay. It's funny to say that, but first of all, it's not. And that's not what gay means. Gay means happy. So yoga is happy. Well, yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Ding dong. Yeah, yoga is, right? And so is meditation. Yeah, so meditation is gay. Yeah. You're gay. Oh, I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe she's gonna tune in and watch this, and that's why I said you're gay like that. I don't know. So anyway, so yes. So the meditations and that's gonna help with that. I advise starting out, if you're gonna start out with meditation, I'll speak from where I came from. If you're gonna start out with meditations, I would certainly start out with just the simple 7 chakra meditation. It doesn't matter if you do a 5-minute meditation, 10, 20, 30, 40-minute meditation. It doesn't matter. You can find all of those, any of those. And you can find an hour-long meditation. You can find 2-hour, 3-hour, 5-hour, 8-hour meditation on YouTube. So if you look up chakra meditation, and I spell Chakra, right, meditation. Or you could put 7 chakra meditation or what have you. Most of the chakra meditations that are on YouTube deal with either some part of the main 7 chakras, okay? And what are those chakras? Those are the root chakra, which is located at the base of your spine. Then you have your your sacral chakra, which is located just below your belly button, okay? Then you have your solar plexus chakra, which is located just below your rib cage, right kind of at the end of your sternum, okay, right? And then you have your heart chakra, which is located right where it says in your chest area, right, your chest region. These are scientific proofs that these energies exist in us. True story. Man just hides it from the public because that's not what man wants you to do. Man doesn't want you to become your best, truest, purest version of yourself. What? Then you'll rule with righteousness. We don't want that. You don't want that, right? Of course not. So you have to go find this truth out for yourself. Life comes from above. Liberty comes from the protection of our armed forces, right? Life, liberty. The pursuit of happiness is your own damn job. You know what I'm saying? That's your job. That's my job, right? So that's our responsibility. Yes, so from the heart chakra, then you go up to the throat chakra, okay? And then from the throat chakra, you go up to the 7th chakra, which is the crown chakra. The third eye chakra is the 6th. And then the 7th is your crown chakra, which is actually above your head, just slightly above your head, right? That's also associated, the third eye and crown chakras are also associated with your pineal gland, okay? If you do not know what your pineal gland is and the significance of it, I would absolutely encourage you to look up that. Find out what it is and the significance of it. Everything that he gave us, even though man removes things, right? So yes, so men can go without our nipples. I don't know, maybe he wanted us to be symmetric. I don't know. Maybe he thought it was cute. I don't know. Maybe because we were first created. Maybe they were added later, after he gave man breasts. I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea, right? But to me, that's just something other than for arousal and cosmetics. I don't know why guys have them, right? So you can take out your spleen, gallbladder, wisdom teeth. You can live with one kidney. Yeah, right. You could live with one eye, one arm, right? You could remove things, right? And the body still functions. However, his original intent is that everything that we're birthed with, that he gives us at conception, that we keep unless it's diseased, right? And then just like everything else, you have to remove it from yourself. Okay? So, you can find just the root chakra, just the third eye chakra, just the sacral, just the crown. You can find upper chakra meditations, lower chakra meditations, all 7 chakra meditations. You can do all of that, right? You can any one of those. Okay, you can do the individuals or what have you. Okay, so what does your root chakra do? Your root chakra focuses on your groundedness, right? Your groundedness, not feeling flighty, not feeling scared, not feeling anxiety, right? The root chakra helps with that. So you can do this a number of ways. You can walk outside with no shoes on, barefoot, right? It doesn't work if you have anything on your feet, right? It doesn't work. You can walk in the grass like that. You can walk in the street like that. Make sure the street's not hot, the asphalt. There's all sorts of things you can do, okay? There's all sorts of things you can do. If you are going to, but yes, that's what the root chakra, I don't want to get off track. I've been talking for way too long, I feel. So yes, so that's the root chakra. So next up, right, is the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra and the root chakra, they work together a lot, I'll say, okay? Because the root chakra deals with your grounding. It deals with the energy that you pick up from the earth, right, itself. That's your feet, right? And we have chakra points on our feet, right? And again, man knows this. That's why you can go to school and learn that. They don't call them chakra points. They call them nerves or something, right? But the truth is, those are. So you have a point on your foot that's associated with your kidney and your gallbladder, right? And your liver. You have these points on the bottom of your feet. It's true. So your energy. You're not who your mom birthed or whoever birthed you, right? Whoever meaning, maybe your surrogate or what have you, I don't know, right? So, yeah. So, so the sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra focuses on, or is focused on, your creativity and production, reproduction. Okay, that's what your sacral chakra is focuses on, and that sacral chakra is located, again, right below your belly button, right? Between the area that you don't give to everybody and your navel. Between the area that you're saving special for someone and your belly button. You got it? Okay. So, that's where your sacral is located. Oh, the root chakra is orange, by the way. Red, by the way. So, you could, as you're meditating, envision a red light at your tailbone, right? You can envision for the sacral chakra the orange light, right, like beaming up, right, coming from that area of your stomach, right below your belly button. But yes, creativity. So artistic abilities, right? All of that comes through the sacral and root chakra, mainly through the sacral chakra. Reproduction, that's sacral chakra. Sex, that's sacral chakra, right? And I really don't even like the word sex. I really don't. I do like it, however, if you scramble a word, then it says X's. I do like that. I do like that. So, because in most situations, that's either all the X thinks we were, or that's all we were to the X. Or that's all the X was to us. Yeah, that's all the X was to us, right? In most cases, right? I'm just saying. So, yeah. So that's orange, right? So as you're meditating, you can imagine an orange light, an orange band, right? And this is going to help you clean out that energy area, that energy space there, okay? Solar plexus chakra is, again, at the bottom of your sternum, right? Right below your rib cage, right? Okay? It is bright yellow or gold, okay? So you can imagine that beam of light coming from you, that area of your chest, right? That area of your body, okay? Right? As you're meditating and listening to that solar plexus chakra meditation, or that 7 chakra meditation, or any other meditation. It doesn't have to be, you could focus on these chakras and listen to a waterfall. Okay? Right? Because it's not about the music, it's not about the sound, it's about the frequency. Okay? It's about the frequency, right? Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, it's about the frequency. You knew what they were talking about. So yes, right? Heart chakra is green. Right? And you can go, I would advise going to get stones that are associated with these, because if you lay down to meditate, you can lay these stones on these areas of your body, or you can hold them in your hand, you can put them in your pocket as you walk barefoot through the park, or what have you. I remember, I don't even know, I think when I was a teenager, Barefoot in the Park with Robert Redford was one of my favorite movies. I don't even know why. Today that movie is, I don't know. I kind of found, is it Jane Fonda who's in that movie with him? If that's her, I think that's who it is. Annoying. A little, I mean, at the beginning, she's all over him. And what I've come to realize, I was like that with no one other than my twin flame. I was like that with no one else. No one else. I was not drooling over anyone else like that. I was not posting pictures on Facebook like that with anyone else. No one else but her. Right? You got to draw back. You got to recognize when those codependent tendencies are starting to stir up, right? You got to recognize that, right? So, and I did eventually. So yes, so green, heart chakra, right? Your throat chakra, blue, navy blue, throat chakra, any shade of blue, throat chakra, okay? So your words you speak. So if you are a speaker, if you're meant to be a speaker, if you're an oracle, if you know that you are meant to be one that brings about change through your voice, if you're a singer, if you are a politician, yeah. Okay? Throat chakra. Okay? Throat chakra. If you are a minister, woo! You need to spray paint your whole throat, your whole neck. Ministers, paint your, just take the spray paint and paint your whole neck navy blue, and then get a blue towel, wrap it in the blue towel, and just lay there for 3 days. Just get all that gunk out. Get all that grip. Get it out, right? So that the words that you speak bring life, they do not condemn, and they do not manipulate. There aren't 100 people in your congregation giving you $100. Stop lying, sit your ass down. Stop lying, sit down. And I'm serious, sit your ass down. Stop lying, okay? Stop stealing these people's money, right? You go work by the sweat of your brow just like every other person. Don't get me fired. Yeah. So, anyway, you see my passions. They are of righteousness. They are of. You just don't make some choices. You just don't. You just don't do some things. So yes. All right. So next. Third eye chakra, okay, extremely important. I can't stress the importance of the next two chakras, the crown and the third eye chakra. I can't stress the importance enough of these chakras. This is where the downloads happen. This is why the downloads happen. When you start to open up these two windows, and they're not windows, they're like sunroofs. When you start panoramic roofs, when you start to open these things up, right? Like, what's the stadium that opens up? I want to say Silver Dome. I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look that up. Silver Dome. I don't know. But a stadium that opens up. Okay? So, think about that, right? That's your third eye and your crown chakra. Okay? So, when you're meditating, you focus on the space between your eyebrows. Okay? right? And you can do that even as you're listening to me, right? And you might start to feel a tap or a pulse there. That's your third eye. That's divine in you. In you. That's it. That goes right to your pineal gland in your head. That's divine. That's the voice. Yeah, it's not in the Bible. Why? Because they took it out. The Vatican has it. Or some other institution that you have no access to. Okay? Right? So focus on those things. So that's step 2, the meditation and being still, right? Again, that meditation could include yoga, right? Because that is being still, yoga. It is, right? Because you are stilling yourself. So the cleansing, heart, okay? So there are a number of, again, same thing on YouTube. Same thing, number of things that you can do on YouTube to, or find on YouTube to help with this. So the things that I did. So I will share what I did. So I did egg cleanses. Okay. If you want instructions for that, again, make a note to include that egg cleanse. So I'll include that link in there. So sage, right? Sage sticks. So I would get sage. And if you have an area in your house, a room perhaps. So when I started, in Florida, it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and it was just me and Sadie, my Cane Corso. So I had lots of room. I had 2 empty rooms, especially once I started giving stuff away. But I always had at least 1 empty room. I just kept file cabinets in it. So, yeah. So I made that room, right? The room that I dedicated, or the space, it doesn't have to be a room, the space I dedicated to my meditating rituals and time with the Father, right? I put a chair in there, I set it in front of the window after, whenever, and just feel the sun on me as I'm listening, as I'm taking in, just being still, just being quiet, listening to something sometimes, maybe not, maybe I'm talking to Him, right? Maybe I'm talking to my angels, saying, hey guys, this is tough, help me out, or thank you for your protection, whatever, right? But a dedicated space in your house for you to be still. Okay? So sage, egg cleanse. I only did this once, but one time I was meditating, and this was at the beginning of this process. So this is last year sometime, maybe this year. Last year. I don't know, sometime. Maybe earlier this year. So I was meditating one time, and I generally meditate early in the morning when I first wake up, just because it's tough for many of us. I work from home, but it's tough for many of us to stop going 90 miles an hour in the middle of our day, even if it's a lunch break. Most of us probably spend our lunch break doing errands and things like that if we're an employer for someone else. And even if you're an employee or an entrepreneur, you probably, you spend your lunches in meetings and things like that. So it could be tough once your day gets running to fit this process in your day. And so that's why I started out my day like that. Generally, unless I have to go to use the restroom, use the bathroom, I do not get up before I start to meditate or before I kind of focus. I may not turn anything on music-wise, but I focus. Thank the Father for the day, right? Talk to my angels, right? My team, and then go into however, but I do that. I start that every day. I start my days like that, okay? So some type of morning routine. Okay, like I mentioned, David Goggins, he stretches for 3+ hours every morning. That's him. That's his meditation time. He could tell you. That's his meditation time. That's when he's centering himself. That's when. Right? And so during this is what is spoken of when the scriptures speak of putting on the whole armor. They just removed how we really go about doing this. Okay? So there's a breastplate of righteousness. You know what that is? That's your heart chakra. Right? There is a helmet of salvation. Do you know what that is? That's your crown chakra. Come on, people. Come on. Right? So, but one time I was meditating and Divine told me, Holy Spirit told me to go get some rice and put it on the floor. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what it meant, but I did it. And I was confident in that because, well, I knew I was hearing clearly. So I went and got some rice. I had brown rice. I don't think that matters. I had brown rice. I sprinkled it on the floor. I go to look that up because I wanted to get back to my meditation. Come to find out, it was to ward off whatever that was, just like sage and everything else. Because again, in my situation, the ex-fiance, former fiance, and her lover was doing spell work against me, right? So, and if it wasn't the former fiance, then it was definitely her girlfriend or boyfriend, which I don't know if they were born a man or a woman, but at some point they changed their sex or they're in the process of changing their sex. So, Divine doesn't make mistakes, and I'm going to leave that there. So, I don't care how you feel. You need to deal with the demons. That's what needs to happen. Anyone going through that process, they need to do exactly what I'm explaining here for probably longer than 3 days. But they need to go through this process and find their true selves. That's probably what they need to do, right? Because changing your sex, who you are, it doesn't change your chromosomes. You can do whatever you want to. If I take your blood, that's like me trying to change my blood to AB negative from what it is, because it's not that. If I'm trying to change my blood to AB negative from what it is, what kind of fool am I? Right? And don't get mad. I'm not calling those people fools, but that right there, just think about the logic of that. Okay, so I pray to him, God help me. I trust him, help me. I believe in God, but yet I believe that he made this beautiful place perfect without me putting my hands to it. Things grow without us putting our hands to it. Things die without us putting our hands to it. New things grow without us putting our hands to it. You get my point? Okay? So I'm not condemning anyone who does those things. Again, they have free will just like I have free will. I can decide tomorrow, you know what? I'm going to go out there and change my penis out. Ain't no way in hell. But I'm just saying, right? I could decide I'm going to do that because I have free will. And science has provided a way for me to do that. So I could go out and do that. So I'm not condemning them for doing that. Okay? But if they're listening to this, then they obviously have some type of conviction about doing that because they wouldn't have been drawn to click on play in the first place. One of the things that Steve would say is offense comes to reveal. And I believe that. If you're offended, if you say something to me and I get offended, it's revealing things about me. If someone looks at me and they say you're gay, I'm going to say homosexual because I already explained why. So, you're homosexual. I'm going to look at them like, what? You better get out of here. Let me show you some of what. Let me show you somebody. Let me show you the women. Let me show you. You know, and get them on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Right? So they can say that all they want. I laugh at them. Why? Because it's not true. That's ridiculous. Right? So, right, they can say, you're racist. Right? Again, I go to my relationships. I'd be like, nope. Dated an Asian, I've dated a German, I've dated an African American. In fact, the only 2 women I've married to date were brown women, and I'm not going to speak on those relationships because one of them might be listening. I don't know, she might listen. So I'm not gonna do that. So I know she's aware of the channel is the reason why I say that. And she knows she's like, I have no ill will towards her. We laugh, talk, clown, whatever, right? That's nothing there with that. Because I'm not that type of person. I'm not a hateful type of person. If I was, then they would be. But I'm not like that towards them, right? That's why your unconditional love destroys karmic situations. Your unconditional love. So it is true when they say, if you love something, set it free. It is true. If they walk away, let them go. Because, yeah, if they wanted to stay, they would stay. So if they leave, there's a reason why. Don't go grabbing back, clamoring back for their... No. Again, I've made that mistake. Okay? So cleanses. Okay? And this includes the internal body. Okay? And this is why I said the grocery store. So what I did, right, is I went to the store, right? And so there's a couple of things that I drink regularly. Again, I drink... So right now, I'm on turmeric tea myself. That's why I mentioned it earlier, right? So I go through these various things because I'm always looking. I'm always better and better and better. I'm hungry. And so those things might change over time. So today you might be on spirulina, right? But then tomorrow you might switch to some other superfood or some shake or some whatever, right? Right? But this is what I did. So I obviously I take care of the kidney, right? So I got that done, okay? By cranberry juice. Again, parsley water. Right? That really needs to be a thing. Parsley water. Really needs to be a thing. Maybe there's a company. So I would buy juices, cranberry juice, right, prune juice, right, and during my cleansing phase, I would cycle. These are things that I would consume. I haven't had a cup of coffee in a long time. I think on my way to Arizona, I think I got coffee. That was the last time I ever had coffee. Well, I've had coffee so far. So it's been 2 months plus since I've had coffee. Again, that's my walk. That may not be your walk. I'm not saying you have to stop caffeine. I know how important coffee is. Coffee is needed because coffee works. However, there is a place that we can get to, and I'm going to sum this up here, there is a place that we can get to in our lives where there are certain things that we think are necessary in our lives are actually not. Okay? So I haven't had a cup of coffee in more than 2.5 months. Just because I could feel myself getting away from it. 2 years ago when I started the awakening process, I could feel myself getting away from it. And there was a time when I would drink a pot of coffee in a morning before 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Easy. When I first got out of the military, because we drink coffee in the military all the time. I could not tell you the amount of coffee I consumed. It was insane. I had to stop myself. So then it got to a point it started to trickle down. So I started to get stronger coffee, so I would drink less and less. I would need less and less, or fewer and fewer cups, right? So yeah, right? I go to the supermarket today, and there's a Starbucks. I haven't gotten anything in there yet. I go there at least once a week, right? Because, I don't know. I think it's a time that a body you can get to such a spiritually enlightened place to where the physical body needs very little. Okay? So this is how people who are on their pilgrimages and people who are dedicated like that, this is the reason why. How can you spend 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness without food or water? Do you know how spiritually enlightened and aware you have to be? Do you know? Right? You know the levels above your crown? There's a star chakra, there's a soul chakra, there's a 8, 9, 10, 12, 20, 30, 50, 90. You know how many points are above your crown chakra? So you can just keep going deeper and more so and more and more and more and more, right? This is how these people are able to do these things physically without needing physical sustenance. This is how, right? And I remember I would go days with, have I eaten anything today? I have not. Nope, I've not eaten anything today, and I don't even know what time it is, right? What time is it? It is it's 1:16. I have not eaten anything today. And that's typically how my days go. I don't eat until well into the afternoon. Typically. I might eat at 11 o'clock. Maybe. But that's a spiritual, it's all spiritual. You should not live to eat. It's physically eat to live. Spiritually, you should be, living to eat too, right? Eating to live too, right? Spiritually, both. Physically, you should only be eating to live, right? What's meant to sustain you. Okay? So juices for me specifically was a big thing for me. Big thing for me. Okay? Again, going back into the things that you know are bad for you. This includes the things that we consume as far as foods are concerned. So if you know you have high cholesterol, you know you shouldn't be having a double cheeseburger every other day. You know you shouldn't be going by the food truck every day for lunch. You know you shouldn't be, right? Be honest with yourself. If you do not have full accountability here, you can stop listening to this. You should have stopped listening three seconds in. Like, this is not going to benefit you if you are not 100% accountable for your own actions and choices. You have to be. And in fact, divine demands it. Because you can't approach the throne hiding something behind your back, right? First of all, because he knows, he sees, right? That's dumb, right? Because he's the air, right? He's everywhere. So trying to hide something behind your back's not going to work. He's going to expose it. So, yeah. Right? That's why your name gets mentioned in rooms that you never enter. Why? Because he's everywhere. And then that information is brought to you. Why? Because he's everywhere. He heard that conversation at your friend's house that you didn't hear when they were speaking this about you or that about you. He heard those conversations. Right? He heard the conversation about the greedy-ass minister. He heard those conversations and them talking about the money and how much we're going to get from the people. He heard those conversations. That's why he said, leave that place. That's why he said, don't put that in that basket. Don't give that to them. He heard those conversations. You didn't. He's just simply telling you, time to go elsewhere. Maybe they were faithful and did good by you, but the seasons come to an end. To every season its season. To every season its time. Let it run its course, and when it runs its course, don't try to pick up another course or make another course or right? So, this is insanely long. I had no idea it was going to be like this. So, lots of information here, but again, this is what I'm going into. I know for sure this is what I'm transitioning into. I am transitioning into a spiritual teacher role. Okay, this is what I'm transitioning into, along with being a healer through my unconditional love and that, right? So when I show up in people's lives, typically that means it's time to change. It's time for a change. It could be their lifestyle, right? It could be something that the Father wants to illuminate to me. By the way, the Illuminati's real. The Father wants to illuminate to me. So it's possible that He wants me to learn something from you and you to learn something from me, right? There's never a loss. There's either a lesson or you win, right? It's either a right choice or a lesson, right? And I'll change that. Yeah, it's either a right choice or a lesson, because you'll always win. Because a lesson is a win. If I took all your lessons away from you, would you still win? Absolutely not. So a lesson is a win. Maybe someone needs to embrace that. Okay? So yes. So anyway, thank you so much. This is crazy. I don't blame you if you had to stop and then come back later, days later, whatever. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I thank you for tuning in, for listening, for being a part of what Most High is doing, Divine Source, Creator of all things, is doing here with not just His chosen ones, not just the 144, but what He hopes to do in the majority, not the minority, because today we're the minority, okay? The majority is still ruling and reigning in those places that the minority needs to be in, okay? So imagine if the individual working in the White House, the president in the White House, imagine if the entire staff, let's say that, entire presidential staff, let's imagine if they were all intuitive and did not follow the media and all that crap, right? But they listened intuitively, right? Imagine if we had an intuitive president of this North America and United States. Imagine if they were intuitive and not political. Imagine if they were intuitive and not religious. Imagine if they were intuitive and not demonic. Imagine if they were intuitive and not greedy. Imagine if they were intuitive and not a narcissist. Imagine if they were intuitive and not an RAPISATist, right? Or RAPist, right? Right? Or KILLER, right? Imagine if they were. Huh. What a beautiful world. That's exactly right. That's what that would be. So, that's what we're working towards. Because the kingdom of God suffers violence, and we are violent. About protecting what divine has given us, and bringing light back to the dark place. Right, this fallen place. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is where I'm going, getting into these sessions, so it probably will be a little longer moving forward. It also probably has to deal with I haven't been on very often recently, so I'm kind of just like sharing everything on one video. I do apologize for that. So anyway, yes, thank you for tuning in. My name's The Encourager, and as always, you're tuned into The Encourager. I'm The Encourager. You're tuned into The Encourager. My name's Nehru. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.